The year 1991 wasn't just another trip around the sun. It was a cultural earthquake that shattered the neon remains of the 80s. From the raw, distorted guitars of Seattle's grunge scene to the high-tech 16-bit revolution in living rooms, everything felt new and rebellious. It was the year we witnessed the birth of modern web browsing, the peak of Disney's animation rebirth, and the rise of gritty psychological thrillers. 1991 redefined cool and set the stage for the entire decade. The Grunge Explosion, Nirvana. In 1991, the music world experienced a violent, decisive shift. The charts were saturated with polished pop and flamboyant hair metal, but when Nirvana released Nevermind in September, the landscape shattered. The moment the raw, jagged riff of Smells Like Teen Spirit hit MTV, it wasn't just a new song. It was an anthem for a disaffected generation. The Seattle sound brought a raw, unvarnished aesthetic, distorted guitars, introspective lyrics, and a style that rejected 80s gloss in favor of flannel shirts, ripped jeans, and thrift store sweaters. Grunge proved that genuine teenage angst and authenticity had massive commercial appeal, forcing the music industry to abandon the hairspray and spandex virtually overnight. This was the precise moment that alternative rock exploded from a niche genre into the defining, mainstream sound of 1991. The launch of the Super Nintendo. In August 1991, the landscape of home entertainment changed forever with the North American release of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES. This 16-bit powerhouse brought arcade-quality graphics and rich, multi-layered sound directly into living rooms, leaving the 8-bit era in the dust. The console launched with Super Mario World, a masterpiece of game design that introduced Yoshi and featured vibrant, colorful worlds that felt truly alive. The SNES wasn't just about better visuals, it introduced the iconic L and R shoulder buttons, which revolutionized how players interacted with games. It ignited the legendary console wars against the Sega Genesis, pushing both companies to innovate at a breakneck pace. For a kid in 1991, blowing into a gray plastic cartridge and seeing those 256 colors pop on a CRT television was the absolute peak of futuristic technology. Terminator 2: Judgment Day. Released in July 1991, Terminator 2: Judgment Day was much more than a summer blockbuster. It was a technological milestone that redefined the possibilities of cinema. Director James Cameron pushed the boundaries of CGI with the introduction of the T-1000, a terrifying villain made of liquid metal. The seamless morphing effects, where the assassin transformed from a pool of chrome into a human shape, left audiences in absolute awe. While Arnold Schwarzenegger's return as a protector gave the film its heart, the cutting-edge visual effects proved that digital technology was the future of Hollywood. T2 became a global phenomenon, blending high-octane action with a cautionary tale about artificial intelligence. In 1991, seeing the T-1000 walk through prison bars or reform after being shattered was a magic trick that changed how every big-budget movie would be made from that point forward. The Silence of the Lambs. In February 1991, psychological horror reached a new level of sophistication with the release of The Silence of the Lambs. The film introduced the world to Dr. Hannibal Lecter, played with chilling precision by Anthony Hopkins, whose performance turned a cannibalistic serial killer into a complex cultural icon. Opposite him, Jodie Foster's portrayal of Clarice Starling, a determined FBI trainee, offered a grounded, realistic anchor in a sea of darkness. The movie's brilliance lay in its tension and intellectual cat and mouse games, moving the horror genre from cheap jump scares to deep, lingering psychological dread. It was a rare phenomenon, a horror thriller that captured both the box office and critical acclaim, eventually sweeping the Big Five Academy Awards. In 1991, the mere sound of a fava beans and a nice Chianti reference was enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine. Nicktoons, the birth of an era. In August 1991, the landscape of children's television underwent a radical transformation with the launch of the first three Nicktoons: Doug, Rugrats, and the Ren and Stimpy Show. Before this, Saturday morning cartoons were often seen as long commercials for toys, but Nickelodeon changed the game by focusing on creator-driven animation. Doug offered a relatable, heartfelt look at the anxieties of being a preteen, while Rugrats invited us to see the world through the imaginative eyes of toddlers. On the wilder side, Ren and Stimpy pushed boundaries with its grotesque, surreal humor that appealed to both kids and rebellious teens. This trio of shows proved that animation could be artistic, quirky, and even a bit bizarre, setting a new standard for the industry. In 1991, orange wasn't just a color. It was the brand of a television revolution that defined a generation. Disney's peak with Beauty and the Beast. In November 1991, Walt Disney Animation Studios reached a historic milestone with the release of Beauty and the Beast. Part of the Disney Renaissance, this film was a masterclass in storytelling, blending traditional hand-drawn art with early, breathtaking computer-generated imagery, most famously in the iconic ballroom dance scene. The film's sweeping musical numbers, composed by Alan Menken and Howard Ashman, brought Broadway-level sophistication to the big screen, making it a favorite for all ages. It was more than just a commercial success. It became the first animated feature in history to be nominated for the Academy Award for Best Picture. In 1991, Disney proved that animation wasn't just for kids. It was a powerful, respected medium capable of competing with the greatest live-action dramas in Hollywood. The birth of Linux and the first website. While pop culture was exploding, 1991 was also the year the digital foundations of our modern world were quietly laid. In August, Tim Berners-Lee opened the very first website to the public, transforming the World Wide Web from a private research tool into a global phenomenon. Meanwhile, a Finnish student named Linus Torvalds released the kernel for Linux, an open-source operating system that would eventually power everything from supercomputers to smartphones. Most people in 1991 had never even seen a browser, but these two breakthroughs marked the beginning of the end for the analog age. It was the moment the information superhighway officially opened for business, forever changing how we communicate, work, and share knowledge. In 1991, the internet was a silent revolution, but within a decade, it would become the very air we breathe. Michael Jackson and the black or white video. In November 1991, the entire world stopped to watch the global premiere of Michael Jackson's Black or White music video. Broadcast simultaneously in 27 countries to an audience of 500 million people, it was a massive cultural event that felt like a Super Bowl for music. The video was a technological marvel, featuring groundbreaking, morphing effects that seamlessly transformed faces of different ethnicities into one another. This visual trick was so advanced for 1991 that it became the talk of every school hallway and office water cooler. Beyond the tech, the song was a plea for racial harmony, blending rock and pop in a way only the king of pop could. Despite the controversy surrounding its edgy Panther dance ending, the video solidified Michael Jackson's status as a pioneer who treated music videos as high-budget cinematic experiences. The Gulf War on TV. In early 1991, the world witnessed the first truly televised war through the lens of Operation Desert Storm, as the United States and coalition forces launched a campaign to liberate Kuwait. The conflict was broadcast into living rooms 24/7, primarily by the then-fledgling CNN. This marked a historic shift in journalism. For the first time, audiences saw green-tinted night vision footage of anti-aircraft fire over Baghdad and smart bomb strikes in real time. The imagery of desert camouflage Patriot missiles and General Norman Schwarzkopf's briefings became etched into the American consciousness. This was the moment news became an instantaneous, global experience, blurring the lines between military action and high-stakes television drama. In 1991, the glow of the TV screen didn't just offer entertainment. It provided a direct, unedited window into a battlefield thousands of miles away. From the grunge revolution to the birth of the digital age, 1991 was the ultimate turning point that defined a decade. It was a year of bold risks, iconic sounds, and technology that changed our lives forever. But now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 1991 moments hit you with the most nostalgia? Was it the first time you played SNES or seeing the T-1000 on screen? Drop a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more deep dives into the years that shaped us.